And so Mike Jones and the Highlanders will also rely on Rashawn Davis in that lineup. He averages just under 5 assists per game in getting the ball to those players you see there and others. And Brandon Holcomb is a very good rim protector, even though he's 6'7". For the Running Bulldogs of Gardner-Webb and head coach Tim Kraft, Tyler Strange, 7 assists per game, number 6 in the nation, 139 threes, number 4 all-time at Gardner-Webb. And Radford in one with the black uniforms and the red numbers, Anthony Jordan, A.J. Desai, and Jason Goldenberg, your officials. Jordan has the ball, and we're underway with Radford controlling the tip. And they'll work it around. That is Javonte Green. They don't waste a lot of time getting it to Rashawn Davis. R.J. Price with a headband. Davis. Long shot, no good. Rebound sort of out there. It's going to go to Holcomb and Radford.
And one thing about Radford, they're not going to waste a lot of time on the possession. They want to get good shots, but they don't mind if it's quick in the shot clock. Coach Jones wants for his guys to be able to play fast.
That's a good guard matchup right there. Davis, number 5, and Tyler Strange, number 2. There they are right now.
Well, that's a great guard matchup. When you think about the forward matchup with Hill and Green, you're talking about 2 of the best players in the Big South going head-to-head.
Holcomb. Hook shot, no. And one more possession for Radford, then they lose it. Taken away from Noreen. Jarvis Davis will bring it up, and he'll hand it off to the senior Tyler Strange.
And Tyler Strange talking to Coach Kraft about how important he is to this team. In their biggest wins, he's been their best. And understanding here at home against Radford, they need for him to show up huge.
And Gardner-Webb is a very, very tough team to beat in this building. They've won 8 in a row here. Wide open the middle. Tough little reverse layup, and it popped out. And we're going to have our first whistle of the game, and it's going to be called like an offensive goaltend here.
Well, I can tell you, it didn't look like there was any possible way that ball could come out of the cylinder, so someone must have gotten a hand on it.
That, I think, is the call from Anthony Jordan.
Get a look at Mike Jones, head coach at Radford, now in his 4th season. And, you know, this Radford team with high expectations coming in this year, he's got a number of upperclassmen on his group. Coach Jones excited about this team, and they got, of course, a nice non-conference schedule, but losing their first 2 games in conference play, they know they need to get one here tonight.
And losing them in overtime, as we'll see a 3-ball, that's no good. And an excellent box out that time by Holcomb. Fanzer didn't like it, but he did his job.
He did, and of course, that's what you pretty much have to do to be able to keep Nelson off the glass. One of the better rebounders in the conference.
Inside out, back out, no good. The rebound goes to the home team. He tried to go to Hill, but Radford cut that pass off.
Well, you can make sure when the guy averages 18 and 9, he is at the top of the scouting report. They know that they have to keep him out of the game as much as they possibly can.
It was a tough shot Davis attempted there. Radford leading the other way with Davis for Radford. He'll go to the right hand and get another one.
And it's been Davis with both baskets in today's game, and he's doing it with his speed and just keeping his team in attack mode, making sure that Gardner-Webb has to get back and build that wall every time down the floor.
And that's not a kick ball. It's going to be a turnover instead. Is he going to get all 3? No. How about a shot block by the 5'10" Strange?
Great job by Strange getting back in transition, not conceding the layup. A 2-on-1, and the senior stops it, but Radford maintains possession, the opportunity to get a 6-point or even 7-point lead early in this game.
See, Radford has had stunning success in this building. This is the 13th meeting between these schools. They're tied at 6, and there's an average spread in these 12 games of 1 point.
Well, one thing we should know for certain is it's going to be a close game. When these two get together, it's always close.
Marine drew the rim that time, and will go out of bounds. It belongs to the Running Bulldogs. You take a look at Tim Kraft in his 2nd season in Boiling Springs.
And Tim Kraft in his 2nd stint also at Gardner-Webb was here as an assistant over 6 years ago, but now back as the head man, and he's got this program going in the right direction. 2 signature wins already on the season, beating Clemson from the ACC and Purdue from the Big Ten.
Long 3-ball. Perfect. Wow. Jarvis Davis, a 39% three-point shooter, just made that shot look easy.
And one of the things that Mike Jones does not want to see is Jarvis Davis getting good looks. R.J. Price closing out on that one, but not closing out close enough. and Davis was able to knock down the three.
Give and go. Noreen has to go to the floor. It will be ruled a tie-up, and that we're on the possession arrow belonging to Gardner-Webb. And we'll get an early substitution for the running Bulldogs. Take a look at Harold McBride out of the Bronx.
McBride really like another point guard for Gardner-Webb. He and Strange spend a lot of time on the court together, but it gives them two really good ball handlers. Another guy who has been, a high assist man as well for the Bulldogs.
Dribble into the corner a little bit. Davis at the pass. That's McBride, his first action. Almost threw it to Mike Jones. Strange had it tied up, fought it off. And a nice little play underneath by Jerome Hill, the leading scorer for Gardner-Webb. The running Bulldogs have their first lead.
And that's the strength of the Bulldogs. When they get the ball inside, when you talk about Hill and Nelson, that's where they have an advantage in this game. And R.J. Price stepping up very cool and knocking down a big three. As soon as his team gave up the lead, they gained it right back.
The number 8 all-time scorer in Radford history is a 31% three-point shooter. As he and Green move closer together to that 3,000-point combo mark. Little flipper there, no good. Rebound fought for and gathered, and a tough shot on the floor. Tyrell Nelson actually tripped over a downed Radford player, Holcomb, and we'll have the foul on Holcomb.
And we talked about in his first year as the full-time point guard at Radford. Came off the bench in the previous years. R.J. Price was the point guard, but this year Mike Jones putting R.J. Price off the ball because of a number of things that Davis could do. And you see him, the way he pushes the ball in transition, as well as what he does the job defensively on opposing point guards. Price has become even more of a scorer, and now Davis is the guy running the show for the Highlanders.
Tyrell Nelson, also out of Charlotte, a sophomore, 50% foul shooter, but made them both and made him look very comfortable there. We're knotted up. Last 3 trips down the court, points for the running Bulldogs, who missed their first 3 and then hit 2 of their last 3. There's a steal. Corner 3, good. Jarvis Davis. Points off turnovers for Gardner-Webb, off the steal by Nelson.
And Gardner-Webb, a very good three-point shooting team as a group, close to 39% per game. And you've got a guy like Tyler Strange who knows how to find his shooters. Coach Kraft talked about he's best when he's racking up the assist numbers. He's had some big scoring games, but when he's getting his teammates involved is when he's best.
Under 10 to shoot. Davis, little contact there, no call. Difficult shot put in nicely by Jalen Carruthers. Into the game now, number 30 for Radford. Valuable player off the bench.
Yeah, great presence of mind right there. Actually got the ball stripped from him. Instead of landing and coming down and it being, a jump ball situation or even a travel, he finishes it while he's still in the air. Not everyone can do that. A little bit of athleticism to be able to do that, but Jalen Carruthers definitely has it.
That 3 ball came up way short, and it's going to go to Holcomb. And now we're going to have a whistle and a foul, and it's going to go against Gardner-Webb. And Jerome Hill will be hit with that foul.
Well, the way you turn defense into offense, just like this, a great steal by Nelson, but he knows who to get the ball in the hands of. Tyler Strange, who finds Davis in the corner pocket for 3.
Well, Tyler Strange, 7 assists a game, is 6th in the nation. 105 assists overall, 4th in the nation. And number 5, an assist-to-turnover ratio at 3.9, which is unbelievable.
Well, with all that being said, he's a guy that you want the ball in his hands.
And they know it.
Mike Jones likened him to Peyton Manning in the pocket with no pressure on him.
Wow.
And that's pretty high praise, but when you say that, that means there should be pressure on him from the Highlanders. Yeah, he does not want him to be able to make those easy passes.
Even Peyton will succumb to pressure occasionally. Keon Brown is in the game for Radford, 0-0. You see R.J. Price, and that's a lazy pass. It'll cost him. Jarvis Davis with a pick and 2.
And you said exactly right. You can't make that pass against a defense like Gardner-Webb where these guys are covering every basis. You lob it up in the air, you're going to have Bulldogs going after it. And that possession, the Bulldogs won.
Trying to force feed the pivot to Brown, and the pass went awry, so another turnover by Radford.
Well, back-to-back turnovers for the Highlanders, and when you think about it, Rashawn Davis on the bench now, you see R.J. Price, you cannot put that much air underneath the pass, and Jarvis Davis turns it into 2 at the other end.
Rashawn Davis left the game hitting 3 or 4 shots. The rest of his teammates 1 out of 5. And the turnovers have suddenly gone up against the Highlanders. Open look underneath, and Noreen fouled. Jerome Hill had a layup opportunity. Noreen will force him to go to the line. That'll be the first on the senior from Minneapolis.
Well, and right there, you have a dilemma because you're talking about Tyler Strange coming off the screen and roll. And how do you want to guard him? Because he puts a lot of pressure on your defense. But the one guy you don't want to leave is Jerome Hill in the middle of the paint, because when he touches the ball, good things happen for Gardner-Webb. Coming off a game where he went 1 for 11 against UNC Asheville when they took a pretty bad beating at Asheville. And it's not something that he wants to see happen again. I'm sure, he's looking for a bounce-back game here tonight.
So Isaiah Ivey, number 24, check in while Tyler Strange leaves. Here's an odd stat. Gardner-Webb as a team was shooting just under 60% from the line coming into tonight's game, and they opened by hitting their first 4 free throws.
Well, you wouldn't think a team that shoots the 3 as well as they do would shoot that poorly from the free throw line, but, strange things happen when you're dealing with 17 to 22-year-old young men.
Jones lost the ball. Another steal for Gardner-Webb, and then they lost the ball out of bounds. So they'll go back to Radford with a fresh 35. Why is Radford having such a hard time hanging on the ball?
Well, right now, of course, they're a little discombobulated without Davis on the floor, but also you see Javonte Green, their best scorer, coming back into the game. Mike Jones not liking what he was seeing with his group, so he's going to go back to his senior to see if he can get something going on the offensive end.
That's a long pass, and Anderson made a great play. That looked like a defensive back and a wide receiver going after a fade pattern.
Well, Yaya Anderson's built like a safety, so it's no stranger for him to be able to do that.
We're going to have an offensive foul away from the ball, and it's going to be on Keon Brown. So right now for Mike Jones, things aren't going as well as he'd like them to as he tries to settle his team down.
It was the best day.
Nice doubleheader on a Saturday afternoon as we start to put college football behind us, except for one game, of course.
Yeah, they got a pretty big game coming up on Monday.
It's a Monday, though.
Yeah, I heard about
your Saturdays are free now to enjoy college football.
Absolutely.
Or, excuse me, basketball.
You're still in football mode.
Apparently I must be, yes. I thought I wasn't, but I guess not. McBride to Adonis Burbage.
And one thing you see the Highlanders getting out in passing lanes, really wanting to push the offense of Gardner-Webb. You're further off the floor, and with Strange off the court, Gardner-Webb now with a turnover that leads to a bucket and an opportunity for an and one for R.J. Price.
R.J. Price took advantage of Burbage dribbling the ball off of his foot, and so for Price, an easy 2.
And you see the Radford Highlanders, they're getting out in the lanes. They're not allowing Gardner-Webb really to run their offense comfortably. And right there, Price doing a great job taking the ball to the basket and finishing. And that's something that, as you know, he and I had a little conversation about earlier this morning. I had the opportunity to work with this young man a lot when he was in high school. And back then he couldn't shoot. Now he can shoot, but he's fallen in love with three-pointers. So as soon as I saw him this morning, I jumped all over him and said, why are you shooting so many threes? Take the ball to the basket. Well, he hadn't listened to me earlier, but he actually just did it and was successful doing so.
Now the foul was on McBride, his first. Well, sometimes with the three-point shooters, and they hit one early. They're going to want more later. Jones got the ball, but also got the body, so Gardner-Webb will be going to the line one more time. It'll be Isaiah Ivey as Cameron Jones is hit with a personal foul.
And one thing we saw with, at the shoot-around with Gardner-Webb, they do a great job practicing and then executing their offensive sets. From that standpoint, it's no surprise really to see Ivey come off that clean. And, if you're Radford, that's one of the things you have to tighten up. You have to know your competition, who you're playing against. And Gardner-Webb wants to be able to execute on the offensive end. And they have a lot of action. Coach Kraft very good in teaching his guys what he wants for them on the offensive end.
Jones checks out of the game. Well, something Mike Jones, the head coach for Radford, said today at shoot-around. We cannot for 1 second let down defensively against Gardner-Webb. And they kind of did there with a wide-open layup opportunity for the running Bulldogs. Big South basketball. Radford 0-2 in conference play. Long 3 from Price.
And I'll tell you this, I have no issue with that three-pointer. One, because it went in, but secondly, because he just saw the ball go to the basket. He got a layup, he got a free throw, and that's what gets shooters going. And now he comes off very confident and knocks down that shot, just like I told him like 5 years ago. We won't talk about it.
Yeah, the fadeaway part too, and a beautiful drive to the hole by Tyrell Nelson. And Gardner-Webb goes back in front. Been very entertaining so far. Nice pivot move. And off the glass and good for Javonte Green.
And the important reason for Radford to be able to score is really to set up their pressure. That's one of the things that Coach Kraft was concerned about with Radford, is their ability to pressure the basketball, not only in the half-court level, but also in the full court with their zone pressure. So with that being said, when Radford scores, they can get into that and try to speed up this Gardner-Webb offense.
Hornet three opportunity, passed up, set to the hole. Ivy, aggressive drive with the left hand. And the junior from Georgetown, Kentucky with two. Radford comes back down with the ball. They've hit their last 5. And keep an eye on the headband over there in the corner. R.J. Price, he's feeling it right now. There he is. Goes back the other way on the rebound by Nelson.
You called it. Now, again, that's a shot that I think they can get later in the possession. But when you're feeling it, you got to let it go sometimes. It still can't be mad at that shot.
Here's a 3-ball off the tip. Coming out with a Davis at 5'11", one of the smaller players on the court. He'll draw a foul.
And how about Davis and his speed, pushing the ball to the basket and not giving Gardner-Webb an opportunity to get back and set their defense. But when you think about it, there's very little defense for it when you have a guy like Ivy who's able to attack the basket and finish at the rim. R.J. Price having to get out there to not run him off the three-point line, but Ivy doing a great job finishing at the rim.
Dylan Poston into the game, the junior from Myrtle Beach, number 5 in the black and red, drew the foul. First free throw nailed by Davis, who's a 72% free throw shooter. A lot of substitutions as Brown will check out of the game. Holcomb comes back in for Radford. And Gardner-Webb takes out Harold McBride.
You know, one thing you get to see, especially watching Big South basketball, you get to see good basketball with upperclassmen who understand how to play the game. You look at it, 19-19 was still, just basically 9 minutes left to go in this half. You could have a high-scoring game here. It's something that we don't see a lot in college basketball right now.
No.
Because guys aren't used to playing in their system. They're not always understanding what their coaches want from them. But you have two teams here today that both do a great job on both ends of the floor.
Tyler Strange back in the game, and he finds Nelson, who's dribbled. At home, that'll be an assist for Strange, and it's a 2-point lead again for Gardner-Webb. Neither team able to run away from the other.
Absolutely. As a point guard, I agree it should be an assist.
Well, what's the rule? One dribble, so he took one dribble. Open foul line jumper is good. Javonte Green.
And you see Javonte Green knocking down the jump shot. And he's a guy that scores big without having to take a lot of shots. A very efficient young man, and this is not something you see often. And Strange gets the pocket pick, but does a great job getting it back.
Tap back, it's still alive. Strange will get it back. And we're going to have a whistle. And Anthony Jordan stops the play, and he would like something done to the shot clock.
Well, I think he's basically saying that, I'm not sure if he's saying Radford didn't have possession. They did have possession to where the shot clock should have reset. But Radford clearly picked the ball up. Davis picked it up. They tried to make a pass ahead to Green and was picked off by Strange. But great effort by Strange, not giving up on the play. One thing as a point guard you hate most is to have your pocket picked. And Strange did a great job getting back on defense and stops another 2 points. That's the second time he stopped the break in this game.
So the shot clock was dropped to 23 seconds. Now you see it's 15. Strange got a little bump there by Davis. Two almost identical builds on those two guards. And there's a left-hand opportunity. It'll be an and one for Jerome Hill.
And Hill showing us a little bit of his muscles flexing after the and one opportunity. But he did show some muscle to get this in the basket. You think about it. You're talking about one of the best scorers in the Big South. And he gets it done in the paint. Not necessarily a guy that's going to step out and shoot, although he's capable of shooting the jump shot. He likes to take it to the basket and get the contact.
So Jalen Carruthers has to come back into the game. There he is, replacing Brandon Holcomb, who sits down with 2 fouls. As an early problem for Mike Jones.
Well, Jerome Hill's a problem for everyone, but right now, if you look at it, he's become even more of a problem for Mike Jones because they're playing him pretty much at the 5. And when you look at that for Mike Jones and Radford, it's going to be extremely difficult to find anyone at the 5 position that can guard Jerome Hill.
He has 7 points so far. Foul's going to go against Burbage for Gardner-Webb with a hands-on. You see the stats so far on the shooting for Radford in the game. This is a small lineup being brought out here by Radford.
And this is exactly what R.J. Price needed. He had 2 tough shooting nights his last time out. 8 for 30 from the field in his last 2 games. So it's good for him to get an opportunity to see the ball go through the basket early in this game.
You've got 2 players at 6'4", 2 barely 6 feet, and Carruthers around 6'7". And it'll be another turnover against Radford. That's 8 turnovers so far.
And that's not something that you really feel like you would see with Radford, especially when you talk about the veteran lineup that they have with Price and Green on the floor. Davis is a junior. You know, so now with Radford, they've got to find a way to calm it down a little bit because they can't continue to give opportunities to Gardner-Webb as Radford now comes out playing the 2-3 zone out of the timeout.
First time we've seen that tonight. And a good pass underneath. Zone was beaten, but the shot was missed, and it's dropped out of bounds by Radford. They had the rebound, all set to go the other way, and instead it's a new 35 for the running Bulldogs.
Well, and the Bulldogs have a 3-point lead, and a lot of that right now is due to Mike Jones kind of really shaking his head because it's self-inflicted wounds from the Highlanders right now. They're doing it to themselves. It's not really anything that Gardner-Webb has done to this point.
Feed into the post. Feed it back out. Davis for 3, rimmed out, and the rebound going to Javonte Green. Noreen. Tough little drive, and he missed everything with that one. Rebound Jerome Hill. Gardner-Webb on the run. Hill keeping it. He's got a man open in the corner, and he'll get it to Tyler Strange, who was only briefly open. Right back to Hill. Banging. Stolen away by Noreen. And he hangs on to it.
And Noreen, yeah, exactly. Great play by Noreen there. And really the presence of mind to make sure he dribbled the basketball on the floor before he stood up to make sure he wasn't called for a travel.
Now Noreen posting up, wanting the ball. A lot of contact underneath, and he is forced out of the post. He has it now. Lost it. And that time he traveled.
And Mike Jones not agreeing with that call. I'm not sure if I agree with that call either because, as you mentioned, he lost the basketball. So I don't understand how he could travel when he didn't have the basketball in his hand.
Well, let's see. One more time.
And the ring goes, and you see he stripped of the basketball. So now as he picked, well, man, you know what? They had it right. Yeah, that's what happens when you question the officials. Anthony Jordan right on top of it. Great job because after the replay, and those guys have to make that judgment call in live action. Anthony Jordan doing a great job making that one. I was wrong.
Open 3 ball. I was going to say you probably aren't wrong much. Jarvis Davis strokes a 3. This is the largest lead for Gardner-Webb, 6 points.
Well, I tell you, he's not wrong. You find him in the corner, it's all right with Jarvis Davis as he's able to knock down the 3 ball once again, and he knows exactly how to get to his sweet spot.
Well, he's 3 out of 4 from 3 and has a game-high 11 points. Got a real surprise for you, Corey. The top 3 scorers for Gardner-Webb are Davis, Hill, and Nelson.
Oh, yeah?
Exactly what the formula is for winning if you're Gardner-Webb, and that's out of bounds. Jarvis Davis had the dribble, looking up the court, forgot about the ball and where he was.
Well, and he was right there by the line. But Rashawn Davis getting in the paint and throwing it up. I'm not sure if that was a pass or a shot. It didn't hit anything. I'm thinking that might have been pretty much a live play to Carruthers. And Carruthers didn't know.
No, it helps if the other guy is in tune. And I wonder if they're missing Brandon Holcomb a little bit with the 2 fouls. Noreen with a jump stop out to Davis. Here's Carruthers. Lost his balance, still made a nice play.
Well, that's the second athletic play he's made. You talk about losing his balance. But again, understand just how to get it up on the rim. At that time, it was pure, nothing but net. And Carruthers giving them really an offensive boost here, especially with Holcomb on the bench with the 2 fouls.
That graphic there showing you the real story of the game. 15 points Gardner-Webb has received because of Radford turnovers. And that's going to be going the other way.
And another opportunity for Radford to really pressure the basketball. When you score, it's much easier to set up your pressure. It doesn't have to be full court, but your defense gets set, and now they can get their guys out into the passing lanes, and because of it, turns out to be another turnover for the Bulldogs.
Now, Radford's only had, of their 9 buckets, only 1 in the paint. 2 out of 5 from 3. Missed by Carruthers.
There wasn't a question about anyone else getting that rebound other than Nelson. He grabbed, that was a grown man rebound right there. He made sure that no one else was going to handle that basketball. But look at the pressure from the Highlanders. The way they get out into the passing lanes, they are not giving Gardner-Webb any open passes. They're basically cutting off everything at the opposing end. One of the issues so far for Gardner-Webb is they haven't been able to get the ball into the hands of their point guard. At this point, Tyler Strange really needs to get the ball and get his guys under control.
Strange thought he got picked off on an illegal screen. No call. Coming up to the 4-minute mark. And it's in the hands of Rashawn Davis.
When you look as strong as Tyler Strange, you're not getting that call. This dude is built like a rock.
Yeah, he's very solid. 4 to shoot. Noreen on the drive. Goes all the way.
And Noreen has taken the ball to the rim aggressively all evening, but that's the first time he's really had success. And this time he gets Radford within the 2.
Open. And a rebound going to Radford. And here come the Highlanders with a chance to tie and take the lead. Carruthers. Off the glass, and good touch on the drive by Cameron Jones. So the bench coming through for Mike Jones. You've had Cameron Jones and Carruthers with some big buckets in this 6-0 run.
And Cameron Jones is a guy that the staff, the Radford staff, is very excited about in his production, especially scoring the basketball recently.
7th turnover against Gardner-Webb, and now they've hit a sloppy patch. Carruthers again, and it's an 8-0 run, and a timeout called by Tim Kraft on the Gardner-Webb bench. With their ball handling, meantime it's gone the other way. So we've really seen, Corey, Radford have a stretch where they couldn't do anything right offensively, and they threw the ball all over the place. Now this is happening to Gardner-Webb.
Well, and Gardner-Webb took advantage of that stretch for Radford, and now Radford taking advantage of the same with Gardner-Webb. An 8-0 run for the Highlanders, and they're doing it off of the points off turnovers. 4
lead changes tonight. Radford 0-2 in conference play. Gardner-Webb 1-1. Their win was a blowout. Their loss was a blowout. Another turnover. That's their 8th. And a great anticipation.
Absolutely. Radford does not allow any open passes. And again, they turn it into points. Defense into offense. This is the way that Mike Jones wants for his team to be able to play, getting up and down the court quickly.
That's going to be another turnover unless it's saved. It's not. It's out of bounds. We're even in turnovers at 9. And Tyler Strange almost ran into the DJ trying to save that ball. But right now, Tim Kraft.
Peyton Manning, picking people apart when you don't get pressure on them. So the Highlanders want to get pressure on him, and they've done that really over the latter part of this first half. And because of it, Radford's found themselves in the lead.
Gardner-Webb has gone into a slump, too, in the last 6 minutes. They have just the 1 field goal. Now they come up with a steal, and here's Tyler Strange. So 10 turnovers by Radford. And almost a steal there. Very aggressive Radford defense. They'll go to the post, and Nelson kind of used a little clear out with that free arm. He missed the shot, and the rebound to Cameron Jones. So the slump continues. Meantime, Radford going inside more frequently as Keon Brown, the junior from Richmond, hits a bucket. And the lead is the largest for Radford tonight.
And Radford going inside, but not necessarily to the guys you would expect them to be going to. When you think about it, it's not Javonte Green, but you think about Carruthers and now Brown. These guys have gotten the job done for coming off the bench with Mike Jones, and you have to appreciate the way that these young men have stayed prepared to play and taken advantage of their opportunities.
Whistle, and it's going to be a foul away from the action, and looks like it's going to be on the running Bulldogs. Let's see, Anthony Jordan with a call.
And I believe that's going to be McBride mixing it up down there with Noreen. And one thing about Noreen, he's a physical player. So if you get involved with him, you got to be prepared to battle. And I think we ended up getting a double foul on that one.
Yep, we do.
But like I said, if you get mixed up with Marine, you better be prepared because he likes the physical.
So Noreen and McBride get hit with that. We'll get 20 seconds on the shot clock and a side out of bounds for the Highlanders with Cameron Jones.
That's going to be the second foul for Noreen. And I believe the second for McBride as well. So both of those guys having to go to bench because of the little mix-up.
Lob underneath. Not a lot of room for Green. He gets hacked. Well, again, I talked about when Brandon Holcomb went out with foul trouble early. He has 2 fouls on him, the Radford big man. You wondered who would fill that void. He's a very effective player, particularly underneath. And you're absolutely right. Brown and Carruthers have done an outstanding job as Jarvis Davis is hit with that foul.
You know, and I talked with Coach Kraft before the game, and, you know, that asked him about the fact that as a Big South team, you normally see most of the teams, their advantages at the guard positions. But with Gardner-Webb, it's really on the interior when you think about Hill and Nelson, the guys that they have on the inside. But he also mentioned, he said it's very true. He agreed with that. But he said also the guys that we play tonight, they're strong on the interior too, talking about Radford. And we've really seen a lot of that, not just from the guys that start, you think of Green, but really when they've gone to their reserves, guys like Brown and Carruthers have really stepped it up.
Davis on the drive. He'll pull up, fake the 3. Baseline 2 is no good. R.J. Price with the rebound, and he'll slow it down. And a timeout taken by Mike Jones. Might as well not leave it on the floor in the first half.
A good timeout by
season cold. It's not even March yet, and you have to fear Rick Pitino. Usually you can wait to fear him until March.
I was fortunate to be able to go down there and do one of their first games of the year at home. And when you see the front line of Louisville, and speaking of front lines, how about Jalen Carruthers and what he's done here early? When Coach Jones calls the play for you out of timeout and you go get it done, that's when you're really stepping it up.
He's hit 6 of the last 6 points.
And the front line for Radford has been the difference here tonight.
Down to the waning seconds in the hands of Tyler Strange. He's a long way away from the bucket. His pass is deflected. Going to have to heave up a 3 ball. Missed everything. And Gardner-Webb goes over 6 minutes without a field goal. In the last 5 minutes, it's a 15-0 Radford run. They've made 6 of their last. First half for Tyler Strange. No points. He does have 4 assists. Just took the 1 shot, a 3-pointer, and it didn't go in. And that's been a problem for Gardner-Webb. As you take a look at right in front of our location, Kyle Noreen to inbound the ball here at the Eddie Holbrook Court, and we're underway. Paul Porter Arena.
And now Gardner-Webb coming out in the 2-3 zone. Radford showed it to us early. Gardner-Webb starting the second half in the zone, but making sure they stay in touch. As Brabage is kind of further out there, staying in touch with where R.J. Price is.
Noreen underneath. That's Javonte Green. He and R.J. Price need 14 points combined to become the 3rd duo in Big South history to achieve 3,000 points. They needed 23 coming in. Another turnover. Davis. Wow. Knocked out of bounds. The slap you heard was Javonte Green smacking the backboard.
And it was Noreen who actually got the block shot. But had it gotten past, Green would have gotten to it, but great hands again by Davis pushing it. Noreen comes up with the block. But Green was on his back to make sure that Davis didn't get that 2 points.
Almost turned over again. Gardner-Webb's gone a while without scoring in real time, even longer when you count the halftime break. And the drought continues. Rebound to Radford and Brandon Holcomb.
And right now you think about, if you're Gardner-Webb, you really need to see the ball go to the basket. I'm sure the confidence is, just a little bit down as Radford had the momentum going into the half. But the way that you can do that is get off to a couple defensive stops and see if you can find something easy in transition.
Give and go there. Shot missed. Holcomb fighting with a rebound. Will have a whistle and a foul. And that will go against Gardner-Webb. And it looks like it's going to be on Jarvis Davis. That's his second.
And a great job by Davis manipulating the pick and roll. Green unable to finish, but as Holcomb comes in for the rebound, I believe Holcomb was the one that actually got fouled on that as he was chasing offensive rebound.
And you can see that very clearly. Holcomb through his shoulder. That'll be his 3rd foul. And we'll see what Radford coach Mike Jones does as to whether or not Holcomb will stay out there with 3 with so much time left in the game. Jones's body language, he could not be more disgusted as he runs in a substitute. And that's going to be Keon Brown.
You know, but the production that he's gotten out of Keon Brown, and especially Carruthers early in this game, I'm sure Mike Jones doesn't really mind having to go to the bench because he's been able to use his guys, and his guys have really paid off the opportunities they've gotten.
Well, Brown hit his 2 shots. He had 4 points in that first half. Carruthers, we saw earlier, had played very well. And there's a near steal. Good save by Jerome Hill. Hill will go all the way with it. First points for Gardner-Webb since 6:11 of the first half. That's over 8 minutes of actual playing time. Green left open for 3. Way off. He knew it right away. Rebound to Strange.
He definitely left that one short. You could tell once he started chasing his own shot, that was going to come up short.
Oh, a big finish there. Tyrell Nelson. That might be the shot that Gardner-Webb needed.
And just like we mentioned, once you see it go through, you start to build a little confidence. And now Gardner-Webb with scores on back-to-back possessions. And now it's Radford, how they're going to go about playing against this 2-3 zone. They need to see the ball go into the basket because right now the momentum is back on the side of the Bulldogs.
That rimmed out, looked like it was going to go. Gardner-Webb has it. They get it right to Tyler Strange. We got a 4-on-4 game going on at the moment. Now the other players get back from the floor. Rejection that time by Keon Brown. And here comes Radford at full speed. And Strange knocked it loose. Taken away by Jarvis Davis.
And we've seen that all night. Tyler Strange getting back in transition and stopping the break by himself. That's the 3rd strip that he's been able to come up with in this game alone.
And a foul will go against Radford. That'll be on Rashawn Davis. His first.
And for Gardner-Webb, this is how they got it going. This is how they got the lid off the basket. Jerome Hill, the sea pretty much parted for him there to be able to get to the rim. But then after that, Barbage with a great pass to Nelson, who knows how to finish.
So under 17 minutes remaining in our game. Left-handed shot, just missing. Tapped up by Brown, no good. And it's controlled again by Radford and R.J. Price. And he'll go right back inside to Brown. Spin move. You can hear the strip that time clearly. And stepped out of bounds. It'll go back to Radford. Great effort. But Gardner-Webb will give it back.
But you see the attack of the basket. R.J. Price did a great job getting to the rim. And then Keon Brown. And that's where Radford has done their damage. They only have 2 shots made outside of the paint in this game. They have done their damage in the paint. And you want to continue to attack there if you're the Highlanders.
Both of those threes by Price. Noreen, tough shot. He got hit, no question about it. He drew that foul all the way.
He wanted to get hit. He likes the contact.
I think so.
Yeah, you see that. The pump fake was a great move by Noreen, but he wanted that contact. He wanted to get to the free throw line, and that's one way. And you think about the veteran stepping up and doing a great job trying to find a way to put points on the board for his team, especially after they struggled coming out in the second half.
So Noreen, the senior from Minneapolis, hits that one. Foul on Isaiah Ivey is the junior guard's first. And no good there. Tapped out and run down by Tyler Strange.
Noreen is one of those guys that you love to have as a teammate, except for in practice. Because I know he's one of those guys that beats everyone up in practice.
Well, a lot of rim used by Jerome Hill, and we're going to have a technical foul called here. And it's going to be called, it looks like, on Nelson for Gardner-Webb, and maybe only Nelson. This happened right after the basket.
It was, and you see, in the part that probably got Nelson in trouble the most was when he walked over on top of Carruthers. It's just basketball at one point. You see him get mixed up underneath, but as the shot goes in, as you see Nelson, as he walks over, that's the taunting part of it that gets the technical foul. If he hadn't walked over toward Carruthers, there would not have been an issue. Maybe they called a common foul, but when he walked over and was talking to Carruthers on the ground, that's what got him in trouble.
Yeah, I think that is the correct call to make. Now, our officiating crew, Anthony Jordan, who's got his back turned to you. A.J. Desai, who's speaking, and Jason Goldenberg is the third official to the right of that triangle. And I don't know if they're checking the monitor, if they want to see if there's anything else to this. I don't think there is. I don't think there was any kind of other foul. But let's watch underneath and take another look at what happened.
Well, there's a battle underneath, and you see the two guys going at it, jockeying for a position. The right arm of Nelson comes out. But again, that's what got him in trouble, just walking over. And it's more of the taunting than it was anything. I don't think there was any extracurricular as far as the elbow throw, anything like that will cause him any further penalty, but just a technical foul because of the taunting. But of course, at this level, that technical foul also adds as a personal foul.
Yep. One more look at it again. You can judge for yourselves. I would be pretty surprised if that's going to be anything more than just this technical foul.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else there. And the officials did a great job getting in between. You see as the guys get caught up, and you're talking about big guys battling. And so as Carruthers is in the air, he goes to jump. The forearm by Nelson throws him off balance. But again, that's nothing. That's a basketball play. But the walkover, the taunt, is what affords Nelson the technical foul.
Nelson walked away immediately, but just not fast enough. He stepped over, then he backed up. I think he must have realized that he might have made a mistake. Then the official blew the whistle, and he walked even further back. But the bottom line is R.J. Price is going to go to the line. We're going to get an explanation from Jason Goldenberg to Corey exactly what has happened, if there's anything additional to that, as Price will shoot and make that first one. What do you say?
It's just a common technical foul. I mean, again, there's nothing more to it. You know, both guys stay in the game. They continue to play on.
So Nelson now has a personal foul tacked on to his stat sheet for the night, which features 8 points. And he'll stay in the game. And a good job by the official there. He
Absolutely.
was very quick to sniff that out and kept that from escalating.
And, you know, these officials are some brave guys. Because at the end of the day, if that did escalate, those are two big guys that would have been going at it. And the official would have got caught up in the middle of it. Part of the reason why I sit over here on the sideline and talk about basketball in comparison to wearing the stripes.
Yeah, they asked you if you had eligibility left. You said, no, I can't. It hurts.
It hurts.
There's a great block shot that time by Hill. Euro again. The left-hander popped out. Rebound Gardner-Webb, and almost a miraculous and one. Heaved up by Tyrell Nelson. Will step aside. Things cooling down just a little bit. Gardner-Webb down 6. Their field goals, they've hit some free throws. 3 of them for their only point, so they're down to 51.7% for the game. And going to the line now for Gardner-Webb will be Tyrell Nelson.
Strange things happen when you deal with young adults.
You know what? It doesn't get any easier as you get older. May I advise you of that? As Nelson will pop that in at 50% free throws here, but looks like he's got a better stroke than 50%.
Yeah, nice stroke from the line.
3 for 3 tonight.
And he's a guy that's really been playing well for Gardner-Webb. 15.5 points, 10 rebounds over their last 2 games. So he's a guy, of course, they also need to continue to get production from. Sophomore from Charlotte. It's really grown into one of the better big men in the Big South.
You see 33 in white, Kyle Noreen. He's staying in the game with 3 fouls. Brandon Holcomb out of the game with 3 fouls. But again, Jalen Carruthers, number 30, has played very well coming off the bench, and so has 00 Keon Brown. They're both in the game. 6 to shoot it. Price, not afraid. Short rebound Carruthers, and it's stripped away, and a foul. And that'll be on Dylan Poston, most likely. Junior from Myrtle Beach.
And the bench from Radford still getting the job done. R.J. Price coming off, leaving that one a little bit short, but Carruthers continues to pursue the basketball. No one gets a body on him. He's been way too active in this game for no one to be able to get a body on him. And right now, he has an opportunity to get through the line and add to the tab. Right now, Radford's bench outscoring the Bulldogs 15-3 in this game. That's where the production has come from. And really, the difference in this game has been the interior, especially the big guys from the Highlanders.
Saw Cameron Jones, number 3 in white, checking in. No problem. And Carruthers showing a nice touch for a big player, too. Now some pressure. And this great one-on-one matchup. Tyler Strange the ball now, and his doppelganger in white, R.J. Price. Pretty similar builds, different styles of play.
Well, this is where Radford struggled a little bit in the first half when they went and they took Davis out, and R.J. Price went to the point. Now, at this point, it's up to the senior R.J. Price to make sure his team gets the job done, both on the offensive and defensive end.
Hill with a big move, but Carruthers didn't cede an inch and comes away with the ball. Tough little shot, and it rolls in for Yaya Anderson. And again, the bench coming through for the Highlanders.
And that's another one of the young guys I had a conversation with as well. Yaya Anderson, I worked with in the summertime, and he and R.J. Price both. I'm like, why are you guys shooting so many threes? They're both really good athletes. They understand how to use their bodies and get to the rim. At that time, Yaya Anderson doing a great job. R.J. Price with a great kick ahead. But Yaya not settling for the three, uses that strong body, and is able to get to the rim and score. This is a young man that used to go for 40s on a regular basis in high school. And he's become more of a shooter since he's been at Radford. Of course, a very good shooter, but he has other dynamics to his game, and I'm glad to see him actually getting that going here tonight.
Harold McBride checked in, Poston checked out, so did Jarvis Davis for Gardner-Webb. That's Jones. That's a three ball coming off the bench, and Cameron Jones can shoot it nearly 40% coming into the game tonight. And Radford is rebuilding a nice lead for themselves.
Absolutely. And really what we're seeing right now with the 12-point lead, this is the Radford team that you were expecting to see this year. When you talk about the seniors that they had, the leadership, and now in the fourth year of the reign of Coach Mike Jones, this is the group that he was looking to see. They're 0-2 in the Big South right now, but they understand the dire need to be able to come away with the win here tonight.
Well, one thing I guarantee you Mike Jones is not going to do, and he's a coach, they never do relax anyway, but they had a lead, 10 points with about 4 minutes to go in their last game, lost in double overtime.
Absolutely. So, I'm sure that's something he talked to his team about at halftime, but you see Green getting in the paint and understanding that there's always going to be the open guy on the opposite side as the ball swings. Cam Jones stepping up, knocking down a big three.
Foul on Javonte Green, and Gardner-Webb a little clumsy underneath, and it's going to be another turnover. So Radford has built their largest lead. Tim Kraft isn't sure that call was the right call, but he quickly calls out a defense.
And right now, Coach Kraft trying to find a way to get things done both on the defensive end, but more importantly on the offensive end. Gardner-Webb came out and got it going a little bit early, but since then the offense has stalled really since the technical foul on Nelson. They've got to find a way to get themselves back in the game.
Anderson, a good-looking pass, and there's a foul. Keon Brown fumbled the pass, and the official thought that Tyrell Nelson got a piece of him, so that'll be a second on Nelson. 5 already on Gardner-Webb.
Now, how about the change from Radford compared to the first half when they went to the bench early? It was a struggle. But right now, when you look at Anderson in the game with Brown and Jones, with R.J. Price running the point, they're getting the job done. And more importantly, they're getting quality shots on every possession. This was the group that turned the ball over a lot early for Radford. They were fine when they had their starting group on the floor, but right now Mike Jones has to be happy with what he's seeing from his reserves in this game.
Just to update you on the combination of R.J. Price and Javonte Green, they have 16 points together. 7 more will get them into that 3,000 range. Only 2 other Big South tandems have ever done that. Right now, this is by far Radford's largest lead. But we got a long way to go.
Yeah, this is a long game, and when this guy gets open looks, he normally buries them. Tyler Strange stepping up, the senior, with a big three to get Gardner-Webb back on the board. Maybe that can spark something for the Bulldogs. But Coach Kraft knows that he needs for his senior point guard to be aggressive, getting his teammates involved, but he's going to probably have to score some points too. His 2 biggest games this year, both 18 points and 10 assists in wins over Clemson and a win over Purdue.
And both of those on the road. Strange, that was just the second shot he's taken, and he now has 3 points to go with 5 assists and 2 rebounds. He's guarding Price right now. Price a long way from the bucket with 8 to shoot. Was a dead back of the rim shot. Rebound Jerome Hill, and Strange leads him up. Will he feel his own shot? No. Finds the open man. He wants it though. Good delivery. Beautiful passing by Gardner-Webb, and then the hesitation. Hill. And that's going to be an offensive foul. Well, they had 2 really good passes there, Corey, and didn't get anything out of it.
But a great call A great call by the official, and you can see that in watching it live. You'll see a great passing by Gardner-Webb, but at this point, Cam Jones sets up and takes it into the chest. You see he's already set, and he takes it right into the chest. Again, and I don't know what's going on with me complimenting the officials so much tonight, but again,
twice.
I know.
No, I think 3 times.
Is it 3?
You like the technical. You like that. I think it was one other call you liked.
These guys are doing a good job.
Another offensive rebound for Radford, and more importantly, more time to burn off the clock. Up 11. 27-10 overall run here for Radford. They were trailing by 6 at one point in this game in the first half. Took a 9-point lead into the dressing room, and they've expanded it to as many as 14. Strange. Off the screen. Good job that time by Radford. In case Strange had designs to shoot it, we're going to have a grab underneath, and it's going to go against Radford, and probably on Javonte Green, which will be his second. So can Tyler Strange... That's a mistake.
On their third-string quarterback, and you're playing in the national championship. You got to give, you got to give Urban Meyer a lot of credit too. You think about developing a program. Your third-string quarterback can come in and lead you to a national championship. That's pretty special.
You're going to get a foul away from the ball on the entry pass. It looks like that's going to be on Jalen Carruthers.
Well, one of the things the officials are going to do after the technical foul between Nelson and Carruthers, they're going to clean up play on the inside, make sure nothing escalates. So you could see the fouls, being called a little more tightly in the exterior for the remainder of this game. They don't want to see anything get out of hand, and these officials have done a great job today and continue to do a great job controlling this game.
That's 4. Now you have a number in mind you want to get for official compliments?
Well, I'm thinking about maybe these guys one day officiating a rec league game or something for me, so I get all the calls.
If they're doing a rec league game, I would hate to see how they got to that point in their career.
Hey, officials have to stay in shape in the summer, too. They got to stay sharp.
Meantime, Gardner-Webb has quietly cut this to a single-digit lead or deficit, depending on how you want to look at it. Green. And another rebound from Strange. Effective rebounder. That's 4 for the 5'10" senior. Nice handoff. He'll miss. He'll try again. It's a 7-point game.
Yeah, that's a great play by Nelson. And again, that's something you'll see really in Big South basketball. And really, and I would say more mid-major conferences than you will in the high majors, because the high major centers can't make that play. But Nelson able to put the ball on the floor and to make a beautiful pass to Hill, who ends up finishing it. But you won't see that when you start watching the Kentuckys, because as much as I like Kentucky, they don't have a center that can make that play.
Baseline interception by Harold McBride. Gardner-Webb is on a 7-0 run. That's 14 turnovers by the Highlanders. They go underneath. Nelson. That's a little flipper. He gets it. It's a 9-0 run.
I tell you what, Nelson came out of the timeout ready to play, and Mike Jones does not like it. He wants a timeout. He needs to talk to his guys about this, because he's seen what was a 13-point lead evaporate to now 5.
And they're
on the road, and you look at the numbers on R.J. Price, what he was able to do in the first half in leading the Highlanders, but only 2 points in the second half, and those from the free throw line. Gardner-Webb doing a great job keeping him under control here in the second half.
So Kyle Nareen playing with 3 fouls. That's R.J. Price. Rashawn Davis being guarded by Tyler Strange. He's left open. He'll pass it up. He'll drive instead. The Tony Parker floater is no good. Tapped up, no good. Holcomb back into the game, and it's going to be off of Gardner-Webb.
And I like that decision by Davis. Even though he didn't make that shot, instead of settling for a long 3, he tries to attack the basket. It ends up being Gardner-Webb's basketball. But even still, especially out of a timeout, you don't want to settle for a long 3 when a team is making a run at you, because that often gives them an opportunity to get out in transition.
The officials overturning their call, ruling that it was off of Holcomb, which looked to be the right call. Just 3 points tonight. And barely got out of that jam. Radford has made it very hard on him this evening. He'll try a tough shot and got it. Playground shot.
Well, it was Strange that got the start. The run started with the long three, and then coming up with another big basket. Gardner-Webb now within 3. Coach Kraft talked to us about how important his senior was. Normally it's getting the other guys involved, but scoring the basketball has really been where he's been able to make the difference here in the second half.
Radford has only 2 buckets in this half. Make it 3. Big shot by Javonte Green, one of the leaders on this Radford team when they needed it most.
And I really don't think that there's anyone in the Big South that when Javonte, a.k.a. Woo, Green, does that, I don't think there's anyone that can stop him. He doesn't do it enough, I'm sure, according to Coach Jones.
That was a miracle shot tried for on the hustle rebound. Tyrell Nelson.
And one of the strengths of the Bulldogs is their ability to go to the offensive glass. You got 2 of the best offensive rebounders in this game when you talk about Hill and Green. But Nelson just as adept at going to the offensive glass and gaining extra possessions for his team.
Good looking pass. Oh, that was just beautiful basketball. And Holcomb gets the flush.
Well, right now, I think we're seeing good basketball on both ends of the floor. The rhythm is picked up. Both teams scoring at a pretty high clip. Now it's about who can get stopped. Finishing at the rim as Gardner-Webb attempts to mount a comeback, but also he's got his big guy, Jerome Hill, who knows how to get it done in the paint.
There's an amazing play.
Gardner-Webb has gotten the job done in the zone. Radford 10 assists on their 19 made field goals, but they're going to need to share the basketball much more if they're going to be successful against the zone.
Jerome Hill averages 18 points a game, and if he makes his free throw, and he does, he has 18.
You know, and he really hasn't had those loud points. It's kind of been quiet, but he's been a guy that's been able to get them constant production inside the paint. You think more about what Strange has done in the second half as well as Nelson. That's been the things that have stuck out, but you have to love having a veteran like Hill who, no matter what, just shows up to the tune of 18 and 10 pretty much every night.
So if you're Radford, where do you go for points? R.J. Price has been quiet in this half. They're going to go inside. Carruthers, a tough turnaround. Tapped up, no good by Brown. And again, Radford has it just stripped away. And back the other way comes Gardner-Webb. A great play underneath by Isaiah Ivey. Strange, here's Ivey. Lost it. Good defense. Big. Now we're going to have a foul or a jump ball here. What's the call? I believe
we're going to get a foul on Cameron Jones. And Jones honestly thought they were going to call the foul on him on the first part. As you see, as Ivey attacks, Jones stands, and that is saying, I'm guilty. Then he realized there's no whistle, and he ends up getting the foul anyway. But he gave the guilty sign as he put his hand straight up in the air. There was no call, but he ends up getting that foul anyway.
So now we're at the point of the game where free throws are critical into the bonus, and the front of them one-on-one is good. And Gardner-Webb came into the game shooting 59.9% as a team. But today, they're a solid 80%.
And you got to like the activity of Isaiah Ivey off the bench. He's really done a good job helping out Gardner-Webb, especially early in the first half. His activity kept Radford on their heels, and now he makes 2 big free throws to tie this game. Often in a comeback, the hardest part is getting over the hump, getting to a tie or a lead. We'll see what Gardner-Webb is able to do on this possession defensively.
Our 7th tie, Yaya Anderson in the game, replacing Kyle Nareen for Radford. Radford's 2 of their last 10 from the field. First time we've been tied since 27. That was back in the first half. Again, they work it inside. Brown couldn't get that tap back, and Strange with another rebound, his 5th, to go with 6 assists and 5 points. For the lead. Jerome Hill is a 25% three-point shooter, but for the moment, everything is going the way of the running Bulldogs.
And it was the front court of the Radford Highlanders who got the job done in the first half, but it's been the front court of Gardner-Webb who's really come to the forefront here in the second half. And because of their production, the Bulldogs now have their first lead in a very long time.
And going to the line will be Keon Brown. So how long has it been? We go back to early in the game the last time they had a lead.
Well, and Tyler Strange doing what he does best, getting his teammates involved. He takes so much attention away with the pick and roll. Jerome Hill finds himself wide open as he salutes the crowd, holding up the precious three.
The run remains over the last 7:48, 21-4, and over the last minute 51, 8-0 for Gardner-Webb. Strange has matched his season average of 7 assists per game. That's every little bit helps Radford at the moment as they try to find a Band-Aid for this giant cut. Keon Brown steps out of the game and Javonte Green comes back in.
You're absolutely right. How do you stop the bleeding if you're the Radford Highlanders? They'll go back into what looks like a 2-3 zone, because right now the job has gotten done in the post for Gardner-Webb. They have to find a way to make someone else beat them outside of Hill and Nelson.
Strange, he thought about the three, and he's a good three-point shooter. He goes driving again. Tyler Strange is a 40% three-point shooter, but he's had 2 big two-point field goals on this run. Yaya Anderson, rainbow three.
A big three by Yaya Anderson. And, of course, you talk about a guy that has a career high of 9 three-pointers made in the game at Radford. So he definitely knows how to shoot the ball from the perimeter, but none bigger than that one to get his team back within one.
Good fake. Lefty shot and rolls in. Suddenly Gardner-Webb can't miss. Isaiah Ivey with the left hand.
And you have to love the fact that both of these teams have had so many different guys step up on the night. What Ivey has done, the last couple possessions for Gardner-Webb. Then you think about Yaya Anderson coming off the bench, knocking down huge shots. One of these coaches have the luxury of having many players that they can go to at times of need.
Airball shot there. Rebound Tyrell Nelson. Tyler Strange wants the ball in his hands. Ivey pull up 2. Suddenly there's nothing they throw up that doesn't go in. And the running Bulldogs have opened up a 5-point lead.
And a lot of the so-called experts will call that a bad shot because he's on the three-point line. I think any shot that 2 runners going to the rim, but more importantly, he's got his teammates involved. And that's where his coach likes him the most, when he's getting those guys involved. And he's been able to do that because he's so offensive and aggressive scoring the basketball in the second half.
He's Corey Alexander. I'm Dave Lamont. But the way this game has gone, Corey, Radford may have one more run in them. We've had giant runs of these two teams. 15-0 Radford at one point, and they turn it over. So can Mike Jones and the Radford huddle figure out this riddle of why his team has stopped scoring? Radford in the white, Gardner-Webb and the black and red, and now some pressure. But token pressure, everybody else pulls out, except for R.J. Price. He and Tyler Strange have gotten to know each other very well tonight.
And one thing you've seen is Price more so at the point here in the second half with Davis on the bench. Davis's production was very good early, as Tyler Strange's production has been good the entire second half. The senior steps up and knocks down another huge three.
Strange now with 10 points. All in this half. Tough shot, and instead of an and one, it'll be 2 free throws coming up for Javonte Green, the senior from Petersburg, Virginia.
And another opportunity where Green decides he makes up his mind, he's going to the rim, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. He's often, not in attack mode. He's such a team guy that he's willing to defer to his teammates. But he's the guy that Radford really needs to step up on the offensive end and help them put some points on the board.
He is number 1 at Radford in rebounds and steals.
And when you say number one, it's number one all time, not just number one this year.
Right, no, he leads in school history. He's been that effective.
And he's one of, only opportunity to be the second guy in Big South history to score over 1,500 points, 900 rebounds, and 200 block shots. So when you think about that, that is a productive career, to say the least.
All the way. Oh, a bunny just missed there, and Noreen back into the game with 3 fouls, gets the rebound. And you wonder if something as simple as that may turn the tide of what's been a game full of gigantic runs. Give and go. Nice passing. Noreen, very patient, goes reverse.
And it is just that, as you mentioned, that's the boost you need, because not only does it give you points, it gives you an opportunity to set up that full court pressure. We talked about how good Strange has been in the second half, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that Radford has not been scoring and unable to really get that pressure on the Tyler Strange.
Noreen has 5, and now you see Radford setting everything up. The kick ball. Quick and smart passing there by Gardner-Webb. There's that big Euro step. Little contact, but no whistle. A lot of contact and no whistle. And it's going to be Gardner-Webb ball, and a little bit shaken up on the play is Tyrell Nelson.
Well, and Nelson upset about the fact that he didn't get a foul called, but he's fortunate that there was not a travel called. As you see the Euro step, I'm going to have to agree. Because disagree, because I think Tyler Strange's scoring has been even more important than his assist tonight. Because without him scoring, they were struggling. When he started making shots is when their offense picked up.
And let's point out they were down by 9 at halftime as another layup is missed, and Strange did not have any points in that first half.
But he did have a bunch of assists, which he's done all night.
Radford has lost their first 2 conference games in overtime. Against Longwood, it was a double overtime loss.
In a game that they had a double-digit lead.
With 5 minutes to go.
Gave up the lead. They did the same thing at home against Asheville.
Price, and the sweet kiss off the glass. It's down to 2, and now it's a 6-0 Radford run.
A fortunate play right there. Radford got the ball out of the hands of Strange. Noreen was able to get his fingertips on it, but unable to corral the basketball. But who will get the ball for Gardner-Webb down the stretch here to give them an opportunity to take a bigger lead?
It was almost Radford had it. Plenty of time to shoot, and that's where you want the ball if you're Tim Kraft and the Gardner-Webb coaching staff. In his hands, will he pull up and shoot the 3 off the screen? No, he'll dish. There's a 3 ball. Rebound Radford. They could tie or take the lead. Timeout. Price a little annoyed that he didn't get the timeout more quickly. Goodness, I hope the Saturday doubleheader. So let's see what the idea is here for Mike Jones. And we'll see how Gardner-Webb defenses this. Noreen will inbound, looking for Price, and he'll take the check down man, Javonte Green. Now Price has it. They can run this clock down a ways, too. Radford has 1 timeout remaining. Gardner-Webb 3. The drive. We're tied. Green. Tim Kraft motioning. He wants. Is he going to call a timeout? He's going to let him play.
I don't think he'll call one. Well, now he does call one. I think he wanted to see if he could get his play to his guys and not give Radford. Knowing that most likely they drew up a play against man-to-man defense.
Got to think that Tyler Strange and that.
And I'm telling you now, you can look at it. It's a 2-3 zone. They had man-to-man on the first possession without the timeout. Now they have to go against the 2-3 zone, which means that timeout pretty much was wasted.
Now let's see. Down to 10. Underneath for the win. No. And can you believe that Radford will be going to overtime for a 3rd time in conference play, and this is their 3rd conference game? It's been nearly 3 minutes since Gardner. And you see that Tyler Strange is back out. Number 2 in the black and red for Gardner-Webb. We'll start the overtime 5-minute period. And you see the timeouts remaining. Gardner-Webb 3, Radford now 2. They each pick up 1 extra. Looking to Hill. Hill with an and one. Foul will be on Javonte Green.
Well, earlier in the second half, I mentioned that when Javonte Green decided he wanted to go to the basket, there was nothing you could do about it. Well, when Jerome Hill wants to post you up, there is nothing you can do about it. One person cannot guard Jerome Hill on the block.
Three-point play completed by Jerome Hill. That gives him 24 points to go with 10 rebounds. No one with more than 3 fouls in the game. And right now, 3 of them for Radford. Green, Noreen, and Holcomb. Hill has 3 fouls for Gardner-Webb. So nobody at that 4 mark yet. Shoot for R.J. Price. He's going to have to manufacture something. He did. Took a hard fall and it somehow got tapped in. Keeping an eye on Price after that fall, and he's a little bit shaken, but he's going to hang in and play D against Tyler Strange.
Yeah, R.J. Price is a big-time football player in high school. He's been hit much harder than that. That's nothing that's going to stop him from playing. And, of course, I know his dad, Ricky's at home watching. If he didn't get up, Big Rick might be down here.
Offensive foul on Jerome Hill for a moving pick. I mentioned nobody had more than 3 fouls until now. Jerome Hill.
And that's the one guy, he and Strange, it's hard for them to pick up foul trouble. You don't want them in foul trouble if you're Coach Kraft, because you need those 2 guys on the court.
That was close. That was the announcer jinx only in fouls. Alley-oop is intercepted, and there's going to be a whistle and a foul. And will this be on Jarvis Davis? Yes, it will be.
And Radford bailed out on that one. At this point in the game, that's not the play you want. And I understand, and again, Javonte Green is one of the best athletes in college basketball you're going to see. You would think alley-oop to him at any time is a good play, but Radford fortunate on that one that play was not a turnover, as Green gets opportunity to go to the line for free throws. An ill-advised pass on the part of R.J. Price on that possession. Price really manning the point in the entire second half of this game. We haven't seen much of Rashawn Davis in the second half, but Price has been the guy running the show for Radford at the point.
Radford as a team, pretty solid 71% free throw shooting coming in. And they've shot the ball extremely well tonight, over 80%. Both these teams have been fabulous in the foul line.
And one of the things I love about college basketball, I mean, no malice intended, anything like that, just a great conversation between Strange and R.J. Price off the free throw. These guys have been going at it for 4 years now. So an opportunity for these 2 to get back at it again. And again, another close game, as we mentioned before.
6 lead changes as you see what's coming up next from Lincoln. Strange off the screen. He'll drive. 7 to shoot. Nelson backs away. Nice touch. Nice touch.
Tell you what, we talk about Hill and what he does for this team, but Nelson is another budding star for Gardner-Webb. And you look at this team, you see why they're able to go out and beat Clemson out of the ACC and Purdue out of the Big Ten, because they've got a front line that can contend with anybody.
Meantime, back and forth we go as Javonte Green adds 2 to his total. And we have a 7th lead change. I suspect we're going to have more.
And throughout the most of this game, we've seen a number of reserves step up and big guys make plays. But now the stars have really come to the forefront when you think about Strange, Hill, and Nelson for Gardner-Webb.
Great pass by Hill, and the shot is missed. And we're going to have a blocking foul. That foul will be on Yaya Anderson. It might have been too far under the basket.
I believe so. I think he was in that restricted circle. As you see, he's already inside of it. You're not going to get a charge call. You got to get outside of that line. Great call by the officials once again. Being to win overtime, I can compliment him even more.
You get an extra one like the extra timeout. I understand.
Absolutely.
So Nelson, might get quiet in here, and he 50% shooter coming in, misses that one. That's only the 3rd miss tonight for Gardner-Webb.
And I hate to say it, but how good has Nelson been since the technical foul.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, maybe that's what he needed to get him going because he's been huge in the second half and really got a good start here in overtime.
That second one was never going to go in. So Rebounds comes back into the game, number 23 for Gardner-Webb. There he is in the red in the foul line area. Noreen staying in. They go right on the drive and get it. Javonte Green is beginning to take over.
We talked about the stars coming to the forefront. I mentioned the three for Gardner-Webb, and on the other end it's been R.J. Price and Javonte, a.k.a. Woo Green, getting the job done for Radford. Them beating an ACC school in non-conference, and then coming in going 0-2 in conference. Gardner-Webb 1-1 after their great non-conference schedule, but somebody's going to come away from here with a loss, and there's going to be, and again, an opportunity to come away with the win for Radford, their first win in Big South play.
Yeah, Radford would be 0-3 in conference play if they cannot hang on to this little lead, and on the line will be Nelson again. His last two free throws were not that pretty.
Boy, and that's one of the things that you talked about earlier. We saw how well Gardner-Webb has shot free throws in this game. But the last two off the mark. They're under 60% free throw shooting team on the season. But now when it's really crucial, do you step up and knock down your free throws?
50% of the year for Nelson. And he's 3 for 6 tonight.
Ew. But you mentioned he has a nice looking stroke.
Yeah, I actually expect, the first ones he made were just fine. They were textbook. If you are tuning in to see Rutgers and Nebraska, you can catch that on ESPN3, and we will switch out to Lincoln when we finish. Corey Alexander, Dave Lamont here in Boiling Springs, North Carolina's Paul Porter Arena. Thursday night showcase has certainly been that for the Big South. Marine back to Holcomb. 8 to shoot. Foul line. No, it'll be Price. Left open for 3. And a huge rebound by Ivy. At 6'2", he looked like 7'2" there. No good. And it's going to be tapped out and controlled by Radford. That was a tough shot for a 5'10" player.
It really was. And Mike Jones wants to get a timeout and get his guys under control right now and be able to draw up something.
And 1-5 in their building.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Gardner-Webb is actually 1-5 at the Dedman Center at Radford. These two teams like it better playing against each other on the road. Coach Kraft in his second year was able to win at Radford last year. And I'm trying to figure out something's not right with that stat.
No, that's one of the more off-balance stats you'll ever see in a conference bracket. Only a 2-point differential here, so where does Radford go? Green, where else? Boy, that opened up wide for him. That was a defensive letdown, and a surprising one.
And a great call by Mike Jones in the huddle. Not only just to throw the ball to Green, but to get him on the move and give him an opportunity with his speed and athletic ability. Green and what he's done not only in the second half, but in overtime as well. He scored 10 of the last 12 points for the Radford Highlanders. And when you need your seniors, your best players to step up big, he's answered the bell for his team.
Good look underneath and an easy layup. A great pass range, has 11 assists. Shot clock is off. When do you foul?
Well, you see if you can get a turnover, and if you can't, then you foul, which is a great job right there by the Highlanders, taking their time and exploring whatever they could. And of course, Gardner-Webb doing a great job, too, because they actually got 2 traps out of that in the backcourt. You got the 10-second call, but if you don't get that and you don't get a turnover, then you have to foul. And I think they did a great job on that defensive possession. Now it's up to R.J. Price to go to the line and cash out.
75% free throw shooter. You can see that looked too hard off his hand. Foul on Strange, just his first. Each team with 1 timeout. And Gardner-Webb barely controls the rebound. It's in the hands of Tyler Strange. Big drive. We're tied up. 6.3 remaining. Timeout called for by Gardner-Webb. Gardner-Webb does not. Green can run the baseline if he wants. Gets it to Price. And did he step out of bounds? He did. He was forced out by Tyler Strange with 4.3 to go. What a job by Strange to shrink the court. 15th turnover.
And when you play on the sideline, it's very difficult. And if you're R.J. Price, when you take that contact, and I hate to say it, but that's one where you better make it look like you got fouled if you're going to be that close.
It'll be Strange to win this. For the second game in a row, Radford will go to double overtime.
And Mike Jones out at half court.
Webb, so is Jarvis Davis. Isaiah Ivey, a couple of shots late in the game, or in the overtime period, I should say. And of course, Jerome Hill.
Coach Jones, I know that suit he got on way too clean for him to be down on one knee cleaning up the floor.
You know, he might have gone through that suit, though, with perspiration from this one. Yeah, and again, he is used to this.
This is true.
How many teams in the country, take a step aside for a second, how many teams in the country do you think have now gone their last 3 games overtime, double overtime, double overtime?
One, the Radford Highlanders.
I can't think of anybody else. Another good-looking pass, and there's another assist. 12 assists for Tyler Strange. Nelson gets the easy 2. It's a 6-0 run for Gardner-Webb. As once again, Radford appeared to have a game, if not locked down. They were in position to win this, and they gave it up. Tough little shot, no good. Rebound Gardner-Webb.
And the officials have been consistent because that call was not made on Hill at the end of regulation, and Green doesn't get it either.
Strange, almost into the seats. Another good look. Oh, and that's an and one. Foul on Price.
So many guys have stepped up for the Bulldogs. We know that Strange has gotten it done all night, but you think about Isaiah Ivey and what he's been able to do, and really not a lot of minutes, but he's been in the right place at the right time all evening for the Bulldogs.
And no good on the three-point play, the rebound to Javonte Green.
And it's paramount right now that Radford needs to get a score here. They do not want to continue to play longer in this overtime and give Gardner-Webb opportunities to extend his lead.
On the stat sheet here, Javonte Green was hit with that foul. That doesn't appear to be right to me. I thought Price caused the contact.
It was Price.
But we have Green here on the stat sheet with 4 fouls. I think that's going to be corrected. It needs to be, because Green with 4 could be a problem. And it's an and one for Javonte Green. And the difference here against Longwood in that second overtime, Longwood got off to a fast start and pulled away with free throw shooting. Radford hanging around this time. And
a great high-low pass. And this time, Green able to finish under the rim through the contact. Javonte Green, who played for my very good friend and former teammate, both in college and in the NBA, Brian Stiff, who's now with the Old Dominion Monarchs, and with my old head coach, Jeff Jones. The Monarchs just cracked the top 25.
Yep, that's a good-looking team.
I think they played at Marshall tonight, so haven't seen an update on that one, whether they're still going to be in the top 25 or not.
13 of the last 15 points have been Javonte Green for Radford. Can't really get off a good shot there, and Strange knows it, so he'll retreat and start over with 11 to shoot. He can gun the 3.
He must have heard you.
Every once in a while, I get lucky.
He must have heard you.
Tyler Strange, that's not luck. That's hard work and talent. He's got 13 points, a dozen assists.
We talked about in their biggest games, he's shown up the biggest. Matching 18-point, 10-assist efforts against Clemson and Purdue, both in wins. And he's really trying to pull off another effort similar to that here in a big conference game at home against Radford.
Price. High pass, Green. Maureen. 4 to shoot. Someone's going to have to fire up something. Give and go. Ooh, at the buzzer of the shot clock.
Now, I asked him, how did he get the nickname Woo?
That's how.
And I told him, and he says, I don't know, they've been calling me that since I was young, but I watched him play in high school. And when he did things like that, all the Brunswick Bulldogs would just go, woo. And that's how he had to have gotten that name.
Wow, that was a terrible pass, and that's going to be lost out on pushing foul. No.
I'm glad it's a foul. Please show me a replay of the dunk by Javonte Green in double overtime with tired legs.
Not that tired.
Not that tired.
That's 4 on Kyle Marine.
You are talking about an unbelievable play.
Ivy, by the way, is an 82% free throw shooter. Here you go.
This is on the other end when you talk about the errant pass, and a great presence of mind right there. Who was that, Ivy or Davis over in the corner, was able to stave that basketball?
So clutch free throw shooting by Isaiah Ivy, who has really been key. We talk so much about the bench for Radford. The Gardner-Webb has 5 players in double figures, and Ivy is one of them with 13. But still only a 4-point game. Radford in their 3rd straight overtime game, 2nd straight double overtime game. They lost the previous 2.
But as time clicks off the top, they have to be able to get scores. And again, they continue to go back to that man, Javonte Green, who is getting it done. But Radford now, they have to be able to come up with a stop. They can't allow Gardner-Webb to continue to extend this lead as the time ticks away in this overtime.
Hill was trying to draw a charge on that play, and Green just went around him. However, Gardner-Webb has offensively had answers. And that's mainly because of Tyler Strange, who has it now. With 11 to shoot, he's a long way away from the goal, but he'll get there. Under a minute now. 6 to shoot. Could be Strange raising again. He'll give it up. He wants it back. The little hook shot is no good. Rebound, Ivy. Rejected by Jones. And it's going to be out of bounds with 51.2 left. Gardner-Webb ball.
But the thing is, Gardner-Webb gets a full shot clock back on this possession. As Marine checks back in on the defensive end of the floor. Now, if you're Gardner-Webb, you want to bring this basketball out and use as much of this clock as you can, get a quality shot, but at the end of this possession, to make sure you don't give Radford a lot of time to be able to get 2 possessions, especially if you get up a 2-point and a 4-point lead.
$15 to shoot. They lob it underneath. Tapped up and good. Tyrell Nelson. Mike Jones has 2 timeouts. He's not using them. Telling his players go ahead and play. Price, tough shot. Oh, wow. The degree of difficulty of shots for Radford has been high in this 2nd overtime period. And with 17 to go, they call a timeout.
On the other end, another great pass by the Big South play, still averaging 20 points a game.
So now we'll see what Radford can do defensively. They get the steal before they have to start thinking about fouling. And they get into the hands, and very quickly Tyler Strange is fouled. Now, amazingly, for a 40.7% three-point shooter, Strange is a so-so foul shooter at 63%. And these will be his first free throws of the night.
But he is a leader. He is a senior, and he knows his team needs him here to be able to step up and knock down not only 1, but 2 free throws, because you want to make sure that this is a 2-possession game, giving the ball back to Radford with 16.1 seconds.
Sounded like Kyle Mason. This will make it a 2-possession game unless Radford comes up with some crazed 4-point play. No problem. And no, you nailed that. But now Radford's going to have to hurry. There's the 3. Off balance. No good. Rebound fought for. Put up. It's a 2-point game. And Radford uses their last timeout. Gardner-Webb had it in their hands if they could have gotten the rebound. To go to 0-3 in conference play. And They're reminding them we don't have any timeouts, but Gardner-Webb does. And we're going to have a foul away from the ball. Strange. I didn't see how he got hit in the face, but he did.
Actually, it was Rashawn Davis reaching for the basketball. Strange caught it, and I believe Davis may have caught him in the eye or got him in the face.
And if he's bleeding, that's going to have to be fixed.
Well, as you see, going for the basketball, as Davis goes to try to reach in the foul, he catches Strange right in the left eye. And as you mentioned, if there's blood, it's going to have to take time. And, of course, when you look at this, actually, he got him across the nose. Got a little bloody nose there. But one thing about this, what it does, and in my opinion, to a disadvantage of Gardner-Webb and Tyler Strange, this is icing him. The more time it takes for him to get to that free throw line and shoot these free throws, the worse off he is, in my opinion, just from my experiences doing this. So from the standpoint of that alone, that play may have been an advantage of Radford. But regardless, they still have to get 4 seconds to the other end of the score if he's able to give them one of these free throws.
Now he has to concentrate. You can see the blood's been cleaned up. You don't see anything else coming out. And he's hit 3 straight free throws. So the cut man for Gardner-Webb with a job worthy of Dr. Freddie Pacheco, able to get the bleeding stopped.
And just in case I don't get another opportunity, I got to compliment this young man on the way that he's played the point guard position. Makes an old guy like me proud to come see him do what he's done here this evening.
All of those points in the second half. He's tied his career high with 13 assists. He misses that free throw, but it might have been on purpose. And there's a foul by Strange, and that is a smart play.
I agree. It is a very smart play because it does not give Radford the opportunity to get that three-point off. Now, they did not miss that free throw on purpose because Strange is upset about it.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, if they make that free throw, they don't have to defend because they would be up 4 points. So they didn't miss it on purpose.
He just missed it so badly it almost looked like.
Right, but it was a good foul on his part because it does not give Radford the opportunity to get a three-pointer off. But now the onus is on Davis to make this first free throw.
Not even close with 1.4 to go. And the second shot coming. Now he has to miss.
You can't make it. You have to miss it and tap it out to someone who's able to shoot a three. That's why that first free throw was so important.
So keep an eye on number 10, Price, in case they have some miracle tap out. And the white headband, he would be the guy that you want to tap it to. Right there at the top of the key. It's missed. It's missed on the tap. And Gardner-Webb wins it in double overtime. Tyler Strange, 16 points, 13 assists.